I got to focus in on just one student because there's not enough detail about all of them. But I think we could talk a little bit about one particular student, Mr. Peter. Simon, he thinks he's been a pretty good student. He thinks he's got this love thing down. And then he kind of understands it. He thinks it goes, well, I think I understand it, Lord. Go backwards for a second. I want to show you something about Simon and his confidence that he's going to pass the test. Chapter 13. We're going to go backwards to chapter 13, verse 36. He had intimated that he was going someplace, he was going away. And Simon Peter asked the question. Simon Peter said unto him, Lord, whither goest thou? Where are you going? And Jesus answered, Whither I go, thou canst not follow me now, but thou shalt follow me afterwards. There's a lot that's pregnant with meaning. That's actually a prophetic statement. I don't think Peter was catching all that at the time, but that's understandable. I wouldn't have either. I'm not picking on Peter. And Peter said unto him, Lord, why cannot I follow thee now? I will lay down my life for thy sake. And in a sense, that's just stating, Lord, I've been studying up what you're talking about. I understand this self-sacrifice and love.
Yeah.
And I have that for you. I said, Jesus, I'm talking to you. I got that. And I want to go with you wherever you go, because even if it takes my life, I'm willing to give it for you.
That's what he said.
But Jesus answered him, Wilt thou lay down my life for my sake? Verily, verily, I say unto thee, the cock shall not crow till thou hast denied me thrice.
Yes, sir.
You're going to deny me 3 times before morning breaks today. You ain't going to make it till the rooster cries.
That's it.
And I know, you ever tell somebody something, you just said it in the spirit, you just know it's true, but you also realize the person just doesn't understand what you're saying. I think Peter gave him one of those faces like, what are you talking about? Not me. Oh, no, Jesus. You got this wrong. Okay, so the test is coming. The first thing that you're supposed to do when they have those big tests, I don't know if the college kids might remember, right? The first thing they had to do when they gave you the little blue book, you got to sign your name in the blue book. That was like the first instruction they gave. So there's an early instruction in the test. Some people messed it up and didn't sign their name in the blue book, so it didn't matter what they answered or the essay questions they got. They could, no credit because their name wasn't in the book. All right, it's the first part of the test. It's the early part of the test. The test begins. Chapter 18. The Pharisees have gathered together the forces of the high priest, the officers of who served the high priest, have come to arrest Jesus. And he has a little bit of back and forth with them. Who have you come to see? Essentially, he's making sure that they're only going to take him and not harass his disciples. But he challenges them a couple times with that. And then we have this interesting statement. The 10th verse says, Then Simon Peter, having a sword drew it. He brought the knife to this battle. Simon Peter said, it's a knife fight. Yeah, he brought a knife. Yeah, he couldn't stay awake for the prayer in the garden, but he had his knife. I got my knife. And he smote the high priest's servant and cut off his right ear. And that was like not signing your name on the test. Simon Peter already had a rocky start to the test. Jesus explains something to him. He says, put up thy sword into the sheath. The cup which my Father hath given me, shall I not drink it? And according to the Gospel of Luke, the last miracle that we see Jesus perform is the healing of Malchus. He puts his ear back on. But Simon Peter, he's not determined to fail this test. Now he realizes now this test is going to be harder than I thought. I didn't understand Jesus wanted me to love Malchus too. I'm supposed to love the people coming after him. I don't know. Man. He puts the knife up, but he decides. See, now Jesus said to him, he said to Jesus, I'll follow you. I want to follow you. I can follow you. Mm-hmm. Wherever you go. Yes. I don't want to leave you. So he begins to show that out. When the other disciples, or most of the other disciples, scatter, Simon Peter's right there. Look how the rest of that passage reads. Then the band and the captain and officers of the Jews took Jesus and bound him, and they led him away to Annas first, for he was father-in-law to Caiaphas, which was the high priest the same year. Now Caiaphas was he which gave counsel to the Jews that it was expedient for one man should die for the people. And Simon Peter followed Jesus. See that? He was clandestinely following behind him. And so did another disciple. John's gospel, the only gospel that mentions that there actually was a second disciple. I suspect that's John being coy and describing himself. So John saying, I was also one. That disciple was known unto the high priest and went in with Jesus into the palace of the high priest. John saying, that's how we know what happened. I was actually an eyewitness to the events of Jesus' trial. But Peter stood at the door without. He never quite made it into Annas' house. However, there went out that other disciple. John goes out, which was known to the high priest, and spake to her that kept the door, and brought in Peter. So John describes here, and it's the only gospel that describes it, that he was Peter's entrance, at least into the inner court of the house. Right. He was able to get Peter entrance. The girl was keeping the door, but she let Peter in. Beyond John's say so. And then this next situation. My goodness, you ever have, how many students remember when you had a test, you didn't know what the questions were, and you saw that first question, and the question was something you just didn't know how to answer? Anybody been shocked by a test? Go like, what? This is on the test? When did we study this? When did we learn this? Oh my goodness. Remember that? Remember being shocked by a question? Yeah. Peter's about to get shocked by a question on the test. It says that, then saith, this is 17th verse, then saith the damsel that kept the door unto Peter, art not thou also one of this man's disciples? It was one of those shocking questions. We weren't prepared for it. Was this on the test? Was this on the test? I mean, is this? Did we go over this in the review? Did he give a good answer, Pete? He said no. Now I think he said, I'm willing to die. You know, if I have to lay down my life, Jesus, I'll lay down my life. But when you're in the heat of a test, sometimes the right answers just fly out your head. And if it's multiple choice, maybe you start picking wrong answers. You don't pick any right answers. Everything you pick, you just have a phobia at that time. You're just overtaken by fear. Some people don't take tests well. I shall say it. We know this. Oh, I think Peter may be there. Because when the test came and the question was asked, even though he made an affirmation to Jesus in the 13th chapter, here we are in the 18th chapter, and he said, no, I wasn't one of them. No, you got the wrong one, baby. All right. Take a look again. He's going to mess up again. The 25th verse. He's outside again. He's more of the interview of Jesus is being conducted by the high priest. Jesus is actually struck in the passage right before this. He's actually smacked in the face by someone who believes that he's being rude to the high priest. So I guess I suspect that those in the outer courtyard can even hear some of the confrontation. What's going on inside is getting pretty raggedy, pretty tough. It's for real now. They're smacking Jesus around, and we can hear the. So there he is in that outer court trying to warm up by the fire. And the 25th verse says, they said therefore unto him, art not thou also one of his disciples? He denied it and said, I am not. One of the servants of the high priest, being his kinsman, whose ear Peter cut off. I'm not waiting. Oh man. You jumped this dude and cut off his ear. And his relative was in the congregation that was there. So that guy kind of knows you. Because you're the knifer. He says, he's related to the dude that got cut. And he's like, no, man. You had the knife. I know. Maybe I missed the other ones. The other 10 I might not be able to recognize, but that 11th one I know because he was wielding a knife.
All right.
Did not I see thee in the garden with him? And that's another one of those questions that's, this test is killing Peter. Oh, man. So he says, Peter then denied him again. And immediately, the cock crowed. Just like Jesus saw it.
Yes.
Before the rooster said good morning, he had denied him 3 times. And elsewhere in the Gospels we read, he went away sad. He was totally upended by his own behavior, by his own fear. He didn't expect it. He thought he was Superman. He thought nothing would shake him. You know, when they were leaving the garden and those officers came to arrest Jesus, he felt really bold. Got my knife. He's ready to do battle. But the situation completely changed when he was in their territory, in Annas' house. Oh my God. I'm in an exposed situation. And he can hear from the room Jesus being smacked around. And somebody asked that tough question. Aren't you one of them? No. I was just curious. I just passed it by. It's kind of cold outside. I wanted to warm up. Oh my God. Does he love Jesus? Does he love Jesus?